Let's talk about guards. I would assume most of you know what a guard is, but if you don't, here's a 30-second rundown. Point guards and shooting guards are positions in basketball, sometimes referred to as the 1 and the 2 respectively. These are the primary ball handlers for your favorite team. Think of them as the quarterback in football. They run the offense, directing players to where they need to be on the court, and then either passing to an open teammate or taking the shot themselves. These are usually comparatively small players, the tallest of all time being the current starting point guard for the Philadelphia 76ers and reigning Rookie of the Year, Ben Simmons. He's 6'10", but he played forward in college. Most top out somewhere between 6'3" and 6'6". Shortest NBA player ever, Muggsy Bogues, played point guard for the Charlotte Hornets in the 90s. He was only 5'3". What guards lack in size, they make up for in speed, ball skills, and long-range shooting ability. If you need a player to find the open man, break a defender's ankles, or take a tricky shot from the corner, a guard is your best bet. Think about the best guards in the NBA. The first 3 that pop into my mind are the last 3 MVPs. First we've got James Harden, the Beard, our reigning champ, star of the city of Houston, and the worst part of those State Farm commercials, because at least Trevor Ariza has some pipes. Next we have Russell Westbrook, the triple-double machine, putting up numbers, not only pure stats, but numbers of stats unlike we've ever seen before. Finally, we've got Steph Curry, the face of possibly the strongest team in basketball history. The guy who you can't trust to leave open on any part of the court. Trickling in behind them, we have studs like Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons, Donovan Mitchell, Klay Thompson. All great players in their own right, but haven't gotten that MVP nod just yet. Let's take a second to talk about MVPs. I'll admit it's an imperfect system to judge the relative greatness of a player, but we're going with it. In the entire history of the NBA, 63 MVP awards have been given out. Of those 63, only 19 have gone to players who played one of the 2 guard positions. But Owen, you might say, the NBA is cyclical. Different eras have been dominated by different positions. The last 4 MVPs have all gone to guards. It's their time to shine. I'd respond to that by saying that, save these 4 years of relative anomaly, there's been only one era that was truly guard dominated. From 1987 to 1997, when a guy named Michael Jeffrey Jordan took a scrappy team of underdogs to 6 championships. In fact, before MJ, only 3 guards had taken home the Maurice Podoloff Trophy. Bob Cousy in 1956, Oscar Robertson in 1964, and Magic Johnson in 1986. So between the start of the award and MJ's arrival on the scene, 92% of the hardware had been taken home by big men. Which brings us to today. Many people are of the opinion that guards are due for a resurgence. After all, if recent history is any indication of where the league is going, they're going to have to. 3-point shots have risen steadily in volume over the past few years, after skyrocketing in the 1995 season when guys like Tim Hardaway, Vernon Maxwell, and John Starks came to the conclusion that yes, 3 is in fact more than 2. Compare their numbers to today, where people like Steph Curry and James Harden are chucking up double-digit attempts in a night and actually making 45% of them, and we can see the effect that the 3-point shot has had on the modern NBA. Trae Young, this year's first-round pick by the Atlanta Hawks, is the first in what many predict as a generation who idolize these sharpshooters and model their games after them. There's only one problem. The little guys aren't the only ones who have been working on their long-range game.
Embiid from deep smokes the net.
Pass off the legs of Dirk. DeAndre Jordan hits a 3.
Gotta go. Cousins will. A 3-ball. Yes!
Big men are starting to follow the trend. Last year, New Orleans center DeMarcus Cousins put up a staggering 6 3-point attempts per game, managing to knock down a respectable 35%. Now, you may disagree and say 35% isn't that good, but stop to remember that the guy who is shooting these is 7 feet tall. The concept of the stretch 4, or even the stretch 5, is starting to take over the league. The small forward position has all but been relegated to solely 3-point shooters. Guys like Joe Ingles, Paul George, and Trevor Ariza are hitting from downtown at staggering rates. And then there are kids like Lauri Markkanen and Kyle Kuzma. They're being drafted as big men, but immediately they're shooting lights out from beyond the arc. So what are the guards left with? Their ball handling skills? Nope. Passing? Nope. It seems more and more like they're being muscled out of the league by bigger guys that are starting to do the things that made guards special. Gone are the days of Shaq and Charles Barkley, big men who were basically just big immovable brick walls that sat under the basket daring anyone punier than them to take them on in the post. The modern big man can do just about anything a guard can do, and soon, they'll do it better. So why even make this channel if I'm going to spout nothing but doom and gloom? Because I love the guard position in basketball. All my favorite players are guards: Muggsy Bogues, Penny Hardaway, Kobe Bryant, Donovan Mitchell. With the rise of guys like Steph Curry, we finally had someone to look up to again. I'd also like to think that if I somehow woke up tomorrow with a shot that didn't make Jerry West roll over in his grave, I could, as a tallish white guy, play point. When you think of basketball, you think of height. The league's average has been 6'7" for some time now. The small, fast guys are quite often literally the underdogs. It gives you something to root for.